Hello everyone, Shintobean here playing some Warhammer 40k Warpforge. This is the demo in January of 2023, where we just have three factions to play as: Space Marines, Orcs, and Necrons. In this match I'm going to be playing as the Necrons with the Warlord Imhotep, the Stormlord, running the Scarab Swarm. And I think it is the strongest deck in this demo, just because the combos in it are just insanely strong. So I'm just going to show you how it works in a live multiplayer match. So we are up against the Space Marines, led by Tigurius, just replacing some of these high-cost cards that aren't going to be very useful in the early game. And we're going second. I'm not actually sure how turn order is determined here, and it doesn't seem like there's any benefit at all to going second. Like in Hearthstone, you get like an extra card, which gives you an extra mana if you go second, but it doesn't seem like there's anything like this. So, just waiting for an opponent to do his action. This opponent took a pretty long time to actually do stuff, so I kind of had to edit the video quite a bit just to speed things up. So it's finally our turn, and I just go for an attack and then use Imhotep's special ability, which is a card that deals 1 damage to a random enemy and heals the Warlord by 1. It's not a very useful ability, but you'll see how it is. It combos with the cards in this deck. So my opponent plays a Hellblaster, which is a powerful ranged unit, which can deal damage to adjacent units, which will be very good at clearing out my Scarabs, so I want to deal with that. I do have a card that can deploy 3 Scarabs onto the field, but I don't want to use it just yet. Tigurius has ability that can, where he can get a special stratagem card, or like psychic power. He can choose one of 3, which is what he's been using. But here I deploy the 3 Scarabs, and then I have a stratagem card that just costs 1 to deal 2 damage to the Hellblaster, so I can take that thing out with my Warlord, and then that causes all of my Scarabs to duplicate. So each time I play like a stratagem card, each of those Scarabs can spawn another copy of it, which is just a crazy combo. And in order to deal with this, you really kind of need board wipes, which my opponent does not seem to have. He played the Judicator there, which has Vanguard, which means my melee units have to attack that. Vanguard does not work against ranged attacks, so it is kind of situational. In this case, I attack with 2 of my Scarabs, and then use the Stormlord's power to just duplicate them all again. I did want to kill some of the Scarabs first, because you can only have a maximum of 8 troops on the field. But then after attacking, I'm able to kill the Judicator, and still have a little energy left over to play that Canoptic Wraith. So got a pretty good board dominance at the moment. He plays Biker, which deals 2 damage to any target when it deploys, and he actually had 2 of them, so he was able to take down the Wraith with those guys, and with his ranged attacks he can pick off the Scarabs 1 by 1. Now I have Self-Destruction in my hand. This is a crazy powerful, probably the most powerful card in the deck, which causes all of the Scarabs to sacrifice themselves to deal 3 damage to to a random target. But I wanted to hold off on that because I could just deal with these low health enemies on the board just by attacking with the melee attacks, so that's what I did this turn, is just use the Scarabs to take down the Bikers. And I was just hoping that he doesn't have a board wipe on the next turn. Even if he does destroy my Scarabs, though, I still have a Canoptek Spider in my hand, which can spawn 2 additional Scarabs, so I can just refill the board again. And as you can see, I just once again have 8 Scarabs on the board after using my special power. He did not have a board wipe, he just played a Librarian, which caused him to draw an extra card. It's got really big stats, but it is unable to deal with a board state like this, so at this point I could just use the Self-Destruction card to make all of my Scarabs blow themselves up and just deal tons of damage. That Librarian had 8 health, but he gets destroyed, and then a bunch of direct damage right to the enemy Warlord. And yeah, after this turn, all of a sudden my Warlord has like triple the health of his Warlord. And once your Warlord gets down to this is like the danger zone for him. Like, it's kind of hard, well, really hard to recover, even though I have nothing on the board. I do have ways of, again, getting lots of units back on the board. And unless he's really able to just play some powerful stuff and like heal his Warlord, he's going to be in trouble. So he played a big Assault Centurion. That thing again has really powerful stats. It's got armor and Vanguard, but again, Vanguard does not work against ranged attacks. So I can just keep shooting his Warlord with mine, with the ranged attack, and then I can use my hero power to activate the Canatech Spider, spawning more Scarabs. I have another stratagem card in my hand. This allows me to just get a card that died back into my hand, but once again that duplicates all the Scarabs, and then I just go for ranged attacks against the Warlord. So the final thing I have to do here, I don't have another self-destruct card, but I have this Triarch Stalker, which gives all of my troops, or all of my other cards actually, +2 to their ranged attack. Another very powerful card. And again, a board wipe would have been the only thing that could have saved him at this point. He did manage to kill the Canatech Spider, just with a card that deals 5 damage to any target. But yeah, he played a few bodyguards, but they're not gonna really help him at this point. The Assault Centurion, I mean, if I did not have the Triarch Stalker in my hand, the Assault Centurion would have actually protected him pretty decently, because the melee attacks are forced to be directed at him. But now that I have ranged attacks, there's really nothing that he can do, so I can just go straight for the enemy Warlord. Again, I can just duplicate all my Scarabs again, and game over at this point. So yeah, it's just a really powerful combo. Again, like, board wipes are pretty much the only way to handle these Scarabs, and there's only a few of them, maybe 1 or 2 per deck. So yeah, I guess the one other thing that maybe could deal with the Scarabs are things with like blast ranged units that can kill 3 Scarabs at a time. But again, his Hellblaster, which deployed at the beginning, that thing did not last very long. So there are a couple other really strong combos that I've seen as I played in the demo, but this is, I think, by far the strongest and most reliable one. We'll see if it actually makes it into the final version of the game, or if they make any changes to it. But yeah, that is it for this one. Let me know if you ended up playing the Warpforge demo at all and what you thought of it, and which deck or which faction was your favorite. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.